Hey everyone, a lot of you really liked my makeup look in my recent totally random chit chat video. A lot of you really liked that video too, and I'm really happy. It was a big departure for me, and you just really never know how that's going to get received. It made my heart very happy. So thank you for that. Thank you for the great feedback, and thank you for liking my very basic makeup look. So as you can see, I have no makeup on. I put on a little headband that I think I got at the grocery store, and let's jump into it. I am moisturized, ready to go. Actually, this is really annoying me. Let me just pull it all up. Two-step process on the skin. I feel like you've seen this before, but let's just go through the whole thing. Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I don't know that you need to shake it up, but I feel like you always should. And giant doe foot applicator. And I literally just swipe it on like war paint, which if you think about it, that's kind of what makeup is. Going off to battle here. If you have oily skin, don't do this. Don't do any of this. Skip this step. So for this, again, there's no rhyme or reason to half of what I do. I just use a little stiffer blending brush. This is the Hourglass one. And I avoid my under eye. Now I have dry skin, so this all works for me, but you really don't want a shiny under eye. That just looks incredibly weird, and it will highlight the fine lines that aren't so fine anymore. They're really just lines. Let's just call it what it is. And there is coverage. This stuff does have coverage. I mean, it's not gonna cover up all the little friends I have visiting here on my chin and right around here, but if you have really good skin, this gives you pretty good coverage for what it is. So there is a little bit of coverage. So if you're having a really good skin day, you could stop here. But we know I won't. Then these two work very nicely together, as they should, same brand. Magic Foundation, I should have said, and I'll list everything below in the description box, shade 1. And how the whole description box for me got started way back in the day is, and Magic Foundation is shade 2, when I started just watching videos. I was not even considering making my own videos. I do 2 pumps. I don't need 2 pumps. I don't know why I do this to myself. I always do 2 pumps. When I was a video watcher and following other people's tutorials or what have you, I would sit and watch YouTube videos with a notebook, pen and paper, and I would sit and take notes and write everything down, whether it was product recommendations or tutorials, and I would sketch out the eye and draw arrows and where they would put what colors and all that stuff, because nobody ever filled out their description boxes, and it would make me crazy. And there'd be little pieces of paper all over my house with my notes. Anyway, okay, different brush. It doesn't need to be a different brush. I don't know why, but this is from an old Coastal Scents set. If it's still available, I'll link it below, but any really flat top brush, the Wet n Wild brush I talked about earlier, I just like this kind of brush. You could use a sponge. I like to pat first and then swipe. Like that. I feel a little manic, a little hyper right now. I just came back. It's a little later in the afternoon, about almost 4 o'clock. It's pretty late in the day. I just came back from a cryotherapy session. I had read that it is really good with pain from things like knee pain. And tomorrow, as I'm filming this, is our big senior parent football dance. And I would like to be in the best condition I can be for that. So I don't have a lot of knee pain right now, but I figure anything I can do to help the situation, he's moaning over there, would be great. So I just came back from that and I feel incredibly energized. So I came back, washed my face from all the makeup I already had on, and we're doing this tutorial together. Okay, so I still have a bunch on my hand. I am going out for dinner this evening with my girlfriends. We call ourselves the Lunch Ladies. If you've watched my vlogs over the years, there's a group of us that started going out together for lunch when our boys were in middle school together. They all played football together, and we used to go out to lunch monthly. And then as the boys got older, mine's the only one left that's still playing football. They all went on to pursue other interests, but we still get together, if not monthly, at the very least for each other's birthdays. So 2 of them are celebrating birthdays. One of them is Kiki. Her birthday was actually 2 weeks ago, and then another one So 2 birthdays tonight. So I am reapplying my makeup. Okay, so that's all patted in. There's no need for this amount of blending. I'm just being really a little overkill here with the blending. I stopped at Ulta today. I've been all over the place today. Blemishes are not so bad. The camera's being really kind. I'm looking in my monitor and most of it's covered up, but in real life I can see a few. I just stopped at Ulta and bought a new Flower Beauty concealer. I actually went through a whole container. That rarely happens. I have a lot to choose from, but I really love this concealer, not for under eye. I actually wore the last bit of my Flower Beauty concealer on my under eye today, and I noticed when I was running my errands that it was creasing up pretty horribly. Not so much when I keep my face still, but when I smiled, it was not a good look. So I'm just gonna dot there's a lot on there. Just gonna dot it in a couple of spots. Little friend growing right there. Hello, friend. Okay, really amazing coverage between the two. I have a giant Flower Beauty sponge. I like this sponge. Doesn't necessarily need to be quite this big, does it? Okay. And then let's do the under eye, and then we'll get to setting. This routine hasn't changed much. It's a little more than I needed. This is the MAC Prep and Prime. I guess we can use a sponge. I didn't really want to use. This sponge is far too large to use on the eye. It's very soft and pliant, but humongous. So instead of using the Flower Beauty concealer for under eye, I'm going to use the Clarins Instant Concealer. Yesterday, I used this, and it's the same basically shade as my skin tone, and I kind of liked not having a brighter under eye. It's a little lighter. Everything is patted in, and we are concealed and covered, and we're gonna ignore that. When I put my hair down, we won't be able to see this. Okay, now we're gonna set. So this is now a 2-part process because I have discovered a product that I believe you have seen this video already. I don't know what's going up when, but this is the Laura Mercier Secret Blurring Powder, not to be confused with their Secret Brightening Powder. It's meant for under eyes so that you blur all the lines, and that's great. It works as long as you don't use the Flower Beauty concealer there. But where I also have been using it, and it works really well there too, actually I'm also gonna just use it to set my eyeballs, is everywhere else that I wrinkle, like what are these, nasolabial folds? That sounds kind of dirty, but there, especially this side, because my face is asymmetrical and I wrinkle more here and here. Does it make my lines completely disappear? No, that's what filler is for, and I don't really want to put filler there. It kind of freaks me out. And then I will set the rest of my face. Did I bring a powder brush? No. I'll use my bronzer brush. I'm going to set the rest of my face with a bronzer brush. Hopefully there's not too much bronzer on. And I'm using the Hourglass, what is this called? Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light. There's a little bronzer on here, so this is not ideal. Now onto the fun part, bronzer. Hoola bronzer, oldie but a goodie, and we're going to use this in 2 places. First on my face. Same brush, that was unintentional. And we are gonna suck it, so we're contouring and bronzing at the same time. So suck in your cheeks, tilt your head down, follow the line. It's like painting by numbers. And then kind of and just like the camera was really good to me and doesn't show you my blemishes particularly well, even though I can see them looking in the mirror, it's also showing you the bronzer as far darker than it appears in real life too. I don't know why that is. I'm also going along my jawline. I'm bronzing my earrings and down my neck. Huh, that's so weird. In my mirror, it barely looks like I have any bronzer on at all. Look at that. And then we are going to put on highlighter. in my, I'm gonna stick with what I'm gonna stick with, and then we'll see if I wanna play with it. Yes, not yes, well, in my life, excuse me, it was yesterday, I used the Essence highlighter, and for some reason, I kept calling it Touch of Nude. It's not, like, where did I even get that from? It's pure nude, and I'm gonna go in with this brush, and I went nuts with this, which is hard to do. It's not that kind of highlighter where you can really overdo it, but I tried. This is a very glowy look. So like I said earlier, if you are an oily skin person, do not attempt this at home. And then the blush. I really like this blush a lot. I hope this sticks around. This is from the L'Oreal Enchanted collection, which is their scented collection. I don't love this. This is a weird scent. Don't smell this. Avoid putting your nose in this. Just use the blush. I think there's 4 shades in this collection. This is the lightest. It has, as you can see, a slight sheen to it. It's a very light peach. This looks terrible. Okay. I'm very upset how this looks on camera. Hopefully at the end this will all come together. We're just gonna keep rolling with it because in real life, this looks really cute. Let's do some brows. I've been playing with some different stuff on my brows because I kind of had some red going on in my hair. So I wanted to add some warmth to my brows. And Hourglass sent me these a long time ago and I just shoved them in a drawer. These are their Arch Brow Pencils and I use the shade Warm Blonde. I still don't know how I feel about these brow pencils, but we're gonna use them because that's what I wore in the video. I still like my Benefit one the best, I'll be perfectly honest. And then set it with, where did it go? The corresponding brow, what do they call this? Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel. I will tell you right now, I don't love this. I don't like the brush. It has one side is flatter than the other, and you really kind of have to think about it. Otherwise, you can get too much product on, and I don't want to have to think about it. I just want to be able to slap it on. But it definitely adds warmth, so mission accomplished there. Okay, this is the easy part. Hopefully, I do not look like an orange Snickers bar right now. Back to your bronzer. First, you are going to use a fluffy brush like an E40 or a MAC 220 and just put this along the socket line / crease. And you don't have to use whatever bronzer you have. If you like a more cool tone bronzer or an actual contour shade, use that. I actually did the same look this morning with a totally different bronzer. I used the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. Is that what we call it? I think so. And it looked kind of different, so. There, and I just take the same brush on the bottom and I close my eyes so I don't get this in my eyes. And I just run it underneath my lower lashes. Then I blend it out a little bit, same brush. You can use your translucent powder if you want. I love this Wet n Wild Single Shadow and Brule just to blend it. And I think you'll find that bronzer blends out a little easier than shadow. And then if you want to deepen it up, just use a different kind of brush. So this is an E25, which is still a fluffy brush, but a little more dense, and just stamp it in the corner and concentrate it in the outer corner. This will go really quickly if you're not talking. And then the easy part, you take your highlighter and a finger, and you just stamp it across the lid. No brush needed for a really natural look. I'm going out and I don't want exactly a natural look, so we are gonna go a little off from what I did last time. And I'm actually reaching for my Fenty Beauty highlighter and I'm doing the side that's a little more glittery, and I'm gonna use that because I want a little more of a pop tonight. So that's the eye that has a little more glitter to it. And then just to blend out that top a little bit more, I'm gonna use a flat eyeshadow brush. This is a MAC 239, the best flat shader brush of all time because it packs on a little more pigment than a fluffy brush. And that is the eye. I'm gonna curl my lashes first Then we're gonna add eyeliner and mascara. Throw on some lipstick, and we're done. I'm not doing false lashes. I had false lashes on in the video. Those things made me crazy. I ripped them off like 15 minutes after I was done with the video. I can't. I keep wanting to be a girl who wears false lashes. I just can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. That's not who I am. I put on about 6,000 coats of mascara. So that is done. And now all that is left, well, I gotta do my hair. This is the Clinique Dramatically Different Lip Shaper Lipstick. I believe it has a really long name and they wrote it in tiny little print, but it's in the shade Hot Tamale. Same thing I wore last time. Bullet comes to a little point, so I'm just going to slap it on. That is it. That is the full look. Hopefully I don't look quite as orange now as I did, I feel, during this process. But this is what I'm wearing when I go, well, I'm not gonna wear this shirt. I'm gonna change my shirt. But this is the look I'm gonna have on in a few hours when I go out for dinner tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. It's super easy, I promise. If you are not talking through the video, it will take you maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And if you're in a super hurry, you really just need, as far as powder products, bronzer, highlighter, and a blush, and you are ready to walk out the door. So let me know if you enjoyed this, if you want more, completely random, chatty, casual, slightly messy makeup demonstrations, and I am your girl. Hope you had fun. I had a blast. I personally feel like anytime I get to spend with you is fun for me, so I hope you had a good time. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.